everybody, it's Gypsy, and welcome to On the Edge of Appalachia. So today, I am making hamburger soup. Now, I don't have a recipe. I've heard of hamburger soup. I don't really know what's in it. So I'm just making my own version. Well, just for the fun of it. And how this came up was somebody gave me a whole bunch of kale. Now, I'm the only one in this family who likes kale. So I was trying to think of a way that would make it palatable. And I thought, well, what if I use it like escarole in soup? And then I remembered, and I also had hamburger meat. Remember, my mom used to make Italian wedding soup, and she would make little meatballs to go in there. Why I wanted hamburger, I don't know, but I'm starting off I formed little miniature hamburgers, little tiny, and I'm frying them up. Just like this. This is what they look like when they come out. So, that's where I am now. And I'll show you what I'm going to do next. Oh, and also, when I'm not feeling lazy, I love homemade noodles. There's a big difference from what you buy in the store. So as you can see, I made a whole bunch of noodles. Some will be for the soup, and I'll just put it in a bag when it's totally dry to save for later. But to me, homemade noodles have a different texture. They're almost like a dumpling to me, but it's not a dumpling. It's crossed almost between a dumpling and a noodle. I don't know. When you cook them, they kind of, when you boil them, they get a little thicker. And I just love their texture. So I prefer homemade noodles. And I was just in the mood to do it today. So I've been in the kitchen most of the day working on stuff like this. So hang tight. Okay, so what I did next was I took the grease from the ground meat and I put it in this pot. And I have in here 3 cloves of diced up garlic and a chopped up onion. So I'm going to saute those. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to prepare my carrots. Okay, so I've let my garlic and onions cook for a bit. I'm going to add the carrots. I'm using 3, as you can see, these were large carrots. I'm going to put those in. Okay, I'm going to stir this up a little bit. I think while this is cooking, I'm going to go out to my cottage garden and get some lovage to put in here. I just did a video on lovage the other day. For any of you who don't know what that is, it's in the parsley, celery, carrot family, and it tastes, to me it tastes mostly like celery, but it's like a celery parsley taste, but it's stronger than like celery, stronger celery flavor. Okay, so I let my carrots, onions, and garlic saute for a while in the fat from the meat. I've added approximately 1.5 quarts of broth. You could use either chicken or beef. And I'm making this up as I go along. This isn't a recipe, it's just me cooking off the top of my head. So I think I'm going to add a large can of crushed tomatoes. You could use crushed or diced. You could probably put sauce in if you want. Doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm going to stir this up. Oh, and I put my little miniature hamburgers in here. Thinking I should have used a bigger pot. Anyways, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this to a boil. And when it gets to a boil, I'm going to put it down to a simmer. And then I'm going to start adding my herbs and spices. And I prepared some, I snapped some green beans. And I'm going to, oh, I had 3 spears of asparagus in the garden that looked like they were ready. Well, I think they're almost past ready, so I took those. I'm just going to toss those in here much later on in the cooking process. And the snapped beans. I was thinking potatoes, but I think I have enough in here. So right now, I'm just going to bring it to a boil. Okay, I've had this simmering for a little bit, so I think I'm going to start adding in my spices. So I'm not measuring. Everything to taste. I'm going to start with salt. I'm going to put in some ground pepper. I've got some oregano. I think I'm going to throw in a bay leaf just out of habit. I'm going to put in some ground, or not ground, crushed red pepper. I love it spicy. And since my son's not home and I'm making hamburger soup, I'm going to add some ground mustard seed. It isn't like mustard. Anyways, I'm just putting in just a little bit of everything right now. I'm gonna let it simmer in there a little bit, and then I'll taste it and see if it needs more of anything else. And while I'm letting that simmer into there, I'm gonna start preparing my lovage and my kale. I think I'm going to put in my green beans now and asparagus. So do the green beans. And I just need to wash and cut up the asparagus, and I'll get that in there in just a little while. So I'll be back with you in a moment. Okay, so as you can see, I had to switch pots because I was getting too close to the brim. I think you could still see in this one. I went through the refrigerator to see if there was anything I needed to use up, and I found a few baby portobello mushrooms, and so I put those in. I checked, I tasted for my herbs and spices, and I did chop up and throw my lovage in. And with lovage, you use the stems and the leaves very much like celery. It is a bit thinner. So I threw that in, my herbs and spices, tasted it, made adjustments, and it's perfect right now. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding my kale. And this is the big curly leaf. I like to cut along the spine of the stem and remove it. I find the stems to be very nasty. And I'm just going to throw this in, well, I think I'm going to rip these up a little bit because this one's a little large. I'm just going to start putting this in my pot. All my carrots and my beans and my asparagus is all cooked in there. So I don't know how much this is going to require because I don't know how much it's going to wilt. So I am just putting some in. I'm going to put the lid on after I stir it up to kind of help it along its wilting way. If that makes sense. Anyways, getting silly here. I'm just gonna. Kale's so much like spinach, it wilts and like there's nothing. You put a ton in, you look like you had too much, and then once it wilts, it's like, oh, that's not enough. So, anyways, this is another one of Mom's made-up recipes. I had fun doing that. I don't know. I got that from my aunt. My Aunt Marie was very creative with her cooking, and I remember like if I'd be over at her house and nothing really planned for dinner. We just go through the cupboards and make things up. So one time, we had lima beans, and we didn't know how to make them. We found sour cream. Yeah. We put dill in? No, there was no dill. No. There was sour cream. And I really can't remember what else, but whatever else we put in it, it was so good. We made some kind of sauce with sour cream. But yeah, I learned it from her. Just go through the cupboards and see what you have and whip something up. So I'm going to stir in the kale. I think it's more fun to cook that way. And my dad always used to call me Chef Tell, because like I would be following a recipe and say it had like something I didn't like in it. I would just leave it out. And I didn't know who Chef Tell was the first time he called me that. Ooh, that wilted already. And he told me it was this TV chef who used to, you don't like it, don't put it in. So I did that. So I think, yeah, it wilted pretty good. Oh, and I did have to add more liquid because I was just, I added some more broth. So this is a thick soup. I have a lot of stuff in here. So I am going to bring this to a boil, and I am going to add my noodles. Now, the homemade noodles seem to cook a little quicker than the ones you get in the store. So anyways, okay, I'm going to bring that to a boil. I'm going to go get my noodles. Okay, so I brought the soup back up to a boil. I'm going to add my homemade noodles. These really clump up and will absorb a lot of the liquid. So I want to be careful how much I put in. I'm going to start with a little bit and see how that is. Oops, lost one. Okay. Smells good. This has turned out to be a very hearty soup. I'm going to add a little bit more. You can use more. And one more. Okay, so I'm going to let these noodles cook up a bit. And when I come back, I'm going to get you guys in closer so you can see what it looks like. Okay, so it's finally done. You can see all the noodles, all the vegetables, the little hamburgers. Isn't it cute? Oops, getting foggy here. So, I'm going to leave you with that. Blessed be, and make it a joyful one.